There we go. Now on live. Thank you, Miss Abina. Hi, everyone. Yeah, he has to come on, right, and say something. It's been, especially with all the trouble he gave me, all the wahala. Hi, everybody. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok family. Welcome in. Say hello. Say hello. You're very shy. You shy. I wish you were shy this whole, I was going to say past 9 months, but 9 months is how long it took. We started this. When did we start? It's been a while. Yeah, you've not been shy this past year. Don't even don't even stop that. But anyway, hi everyone. This is Attorney 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕, immigration attorney based in Alabama, representing immigration clients in all 50 states. If you've got an immigration case, if it's a case that we can represent you in, we'll be glad to represent you. We allowed you to sleep on Thursday. He said he's shy. Hello, 𝐸𝐿𝐵. Hello, Ninlet, you beautiful woman. How are you? Come on in. If you're just joining us for the first time, let us know what state, what country, where you're joining us from. Winner forever. How are you? Welcome everyone to the most positive immigration space on social media platforms. Safe space to celebrate immigration victories and ask questions about new policies on immigration with the number one sister lawyer. This one right here. No other one. Hello, Mama. My mom is on. Mom is added 263. Y'all say hello to my mother. Show some respect. Herrick from Dallas, welcome in. Come on, welcome in, welcome in. Good evening. You're welcome. Hello, Miss Elizabeth. Welcome in, everybody. So I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. It looks like, we see each other Thursday and then nothing until exclusive Aya from Maryland. Welcome in. Hi, Mama. Thanks for birthing the woman who helped me with my my green card. Oh, so I was born just to help you your green card, Miss Imagine, right? But anyway, once again, this is Attorney 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕. I'm an immigration attorney based in Alabama, representing immigration clients in all 50 states. We'll be glad to represent you in an immigration case. If you need to contact our office, the first step in getting representation is to schedule a paid consultation. Contact our office 334-341-4475. You can send us an email, info@olalayalawfirm.com, or better still, just visit our website, olalayalawfirm.com. It's same number on WhatsApp. Once again, if people were saying, hey, we call WhatsApp, we don't pick up calls. You're going to be wasting your time. I'm just being honest and being very, very truthful and very direct, and just no other way to say it. Calls will go unanswered on WhatsApp. WhatsApp is strictly for text messages. So if you need to call and talk to someone, you've got to call the same number, but not on WhatsApp. You got to call directly direct line 334-341-4475. So please share, like, follow, subscribe, all social media platforms at Grandma. Your prayers are working. It's been testimony galore. Where's the lie? At Olalay Immigration and all platforms. So you just never know. Y'all don't even understand how often we get told, or someone calls our office and goes, or someone would send a message and say, you know what, you just don't know how much that information is blessing people's lives and all that. So we'll be honored and privileged to represent you, just like we've done so many people, currently doing so many people, and look forward to doing other people, representing other people as well. Okay, Mr. Magic, what did you decide? Yes or no? If you can be going back and forth, because if you're not coming on, don't text me and tell me, you don't even have to put on your video. You don't have to put it in your video, just if you want to say something, but just let me know what you decide. But anyway, what we're talking about tonight. Now, once you come on, all right, send me a request. I don't listen. I do law stuff. I don't do tech stuff. Y'all are the people who do tech. I think you're supposed to send a request, and yeah, because yeah. But I don't do text though. So whatever you need to do. Now, if we're talking about talking up a storm, sign me up, because when your own kids tell you they don't want to write to sound like us as much as you do, you know you've got a gift for gap. But hey, it pays the bills. Who's complaining? But anyway, let's talk immigration, y'all. We represent immigration clients in all 50 states that we've talked about. Contact information is scrolling across the screen. If you're on Facebook and on YouTube, if you are on TikTok, it's at the very beginning, and Miss Eleanor Sanctuary is always kind enough to help us put that on. And yes, and once again, it's there. You haven't seen TJ. TJ is fine. It's school. TJ's in school. TJ's in school. We've got dress up week this week as well. So my baby is fine. He is. He said, "Don't. I'm shy. Don't worry. You don't have to be on. So if you see people on what's it called, TikTok and YouTube and Facebook can't even see you. So you don't have to do a video. Just I don't know what. I don't even know what he wants to say. Hopefully he says something that, okay, there he is. There he is. This is my long lost brother that my mom didn't tell me I had. I'm telling you, my mom is my kids off because if he was my blood brother, he couldn't stress me more. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm really shy.
I know
really
that's
shy.
okay. So y'all, that is Mr. Magic, one of my. He's a great client. He's been a great client, but he is the newest green card holder in town. So what do you want to say? And they can hear you on YouTube and TikTok, but we can see, those of us on Instagram, we can't see you.
Okay.
And doesn't he look like my brother? He looks like me, right? But for real, like if I tell people he's my brother, they'll believe, right? He's got like the chinko eyes and all that. All right, anyway, everyone is saying he's really shy. I know.
I am. I've never been this shy.
That's okay. So what do you want to share with everyone?
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you very much, everybody. I know this group actually is one that people support people even if they don't know them. But since the interview was very brief, I'll go ahead and be very brief. So when we went there, I was the most nervous person when the whole thing started. Yes, and even I had a lot of help from Eliana Sanctuary, Finance Shandy, Abena. Even though
those are my girls, woohoo!
Yeah, we started off with fights, but
that's true. And they put you right in your place. They checked you really fast.
All the time. They were waiting for me every time there was a live just to make sure.
They checked you real fast. Finance Shandy and I came as mom figures, like get in line. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so when we went there that day, my wife was literally rubbing my head, telling me, "Don't worry, we're going to ace the interview." Because I would tell her, "Okay, we got to practice. And she was more interested in other things like watching shows. And then sometimes I should bring it up, "Okay, let's practice." So when we got there and we went in, I noticed something that puts a lot of fear in my mind. There were people they would call their names, and when they get to the door, they'll just let one person in and send the other one out.
Yeah.
And they kept doing that. And as soon as we got there were people that were there already. As soon as we got there, they called them in, and then one of them will come outside. And then the other time, the other one will come out, and then the other one will go in. And so I was getting really nervous. My hands got really cold.
I can imagine.
And I wasn't even able to ask anybody about when you told me to ask the zip code. I think
area code because I wanted to make sure I didn't miss
my leg was shaking. So my wife asked me, she said, "Are they gonna separate us?" I said, "I hope not, but either way our attorney will be on the phone, so we're not gonna be alone." And she was like, "Okay, good." And then when we went in, the guy came, a really young guy, he should be no more than 33, 35. He said, "Last name Maji." I was at the very back because the place was full. It's like
He's
Nigeria
it's
Embassy,
yeah,
US visa.
it's Dallas. Like yeah, it's a
Yeah.
lot of immigrants out there.
And some people were standing too because there was no space. And so when I went in, the guy said, "Okay." We walked and walked and walked and walked. It was really long hallway, and then we went into the office, and then there was a lady sitting there in the office. So he said, "This is the office. Go in here." And then we went in. While we're walking, I asked him. I said, "My attorney is requesting to be on the phone because she's not."
And that's why I told him, like, do not start. As soon as you get in, tell them, this is the letter. She has to be on the phone. Don't answer no questions until they have called me, because I don't play.
And the only thing we did before you was he made us raise our right hands and swear. And the other lady stood up too. I don't know why, but she stood up. And so after that, then he called you. And because I thought he would call you from my phone, but he said it's best if he calls you.
Yeah, they usually would use their own phone. And that's why I was asking for the area code.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that was why I asked him for the area code. He said 972 and then all that. So, well, we started the interview. I was ready. As soon as I got in there, my fear or my nervousness was all gone. I was ready. And so he asked me what is my name and my date of birth. I told him. And he said, well, he asked me all those, I think, inadmissibility questions.
Yeah.
Have you ever been involved with prostitution?
Yeah. Which, when he started that way, I was like, okay, where is this going? Because that's never been.
Oh, I didn't even know.
It's usually the good faith part of it, like how real is your marriage. But when he started with that, I was like, okay, that's right in the middle of the application form. That's where all those questions come in.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so I was expecting him to at least ask my wife her name or ask me her name or ask her my name. He didn't do any of that. So fast forward to when you got off the phone. I just...
And before I even got off the phone, just a little bit of what... He didn't ask Miss Hawkins anything. And when I say nothing, in the sense of because you're there for a bona fide marriage interview and all that, nothing about good faith. And Mr. Major was like, we got more evidence and all that. And what did he tell you? Like, okay, we got more evidence. Okay, well, I guess you're still going to get to that anyway. But the interview was it was 17 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It was 17 minutes.
He was like, when you got off the phone, I kept looking at him, and he said the real reason why he called me for an interview is because the civil surgeon put age inappropriate and also put vaccine due to religious exemptions.
Yeah.
And so he wanted me to pick one, basically, which one it was. And I said it was for religious exemption, and he was like, okay, because he had seen the affidavit and a sworn statement from the attorney. And so he said he figured out it was... So I don't know, the lady that was there could have been in training or she
they're usually in training. Yeah. I don't know. It's a training, someone who's in training. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when he said, okay, I think you're good to go, I was first of all, the interview just started. And what do you mean you're good to go? I said, I looked at him for a good 10 seconds. I just kept staring at him because I'm 6'4". So when I stood up,
you're looking.
Everybody was under me. And the lady now finally saw how I was looking at him, and she said, you have more evidence for him? I said, yes. And he looked at her and said, I don't need any more. And then that was when he said, the attorney on file really filed this, really organized. It made it really easy for me. And then I just started saying, I want to
give me my flowers. Give me my flowers.
Yeah. He was like, she made it really... He mentioned that 3 times. He said, your attorney made it really easy.
We thank God.
And there's a few things that confused him, like the marriage certificate. I guess because it's been transferred from different field offices, they lost that.
Yeah.
So he took the marriage certificate again, and he said, common law. He was like, yeah. He said, okay, yeah, we do common law.
And we had already put that in. It was part of the cover letter so that they know that we know what the law is. This is the state of Texas. It's illegal marriage because you need to send me like a whole ram for Christmas because you stressed me out. Lord have mercy. I'm even surprised. My mother's going to be surprised I had that kind of patience. Like, oh my God, I'm going to patience.
I know, seriously. And when I was leaving, I said, because he said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and walk you out the door. And I got up again. I stood up again the second time. So the lady got up and came and shook my hand and said, "I'm officer." I can't remember her name. And then he shook my hand too and said, "I'm going to call your attorney and tell
Never
her
has
what my
happened in
supervisor
almost 10
says."
years. Never has.
Yes.
And someone called me and said, "I'm going to tell you what my decision is after an interview." Like, what? Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't
'Cause I
expecting
thought
him
he
to
was-
call. I was,
Right.
to be honest.
I didn't either. I thought he would just send an RFE.
Yeah,
or
just let
something.
us go. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so from the time I was in the building, and a lot of people could tell when I came out, they were just saying congratulations, because I couldn't hold it, and my wife couldn't hold the smile either. I mean, it wasn't approved, but we had this feeling that it went well. And so by the time we got to the car and left USCI's premises, that was when you called and said that he said he was going to approve it. I literally started crying because I thought it was impossible, all these years being here, that I would never be able to go back home. If my family had to see me, they had to come over here.
Listen, don't even start making me emotional, because I don't do much of stuff.
It was so, I started crying, and my wife was driving and trying to console me at the same time. And I'm kind of getting emotional.
That's okay. Next two of us. Okay, that's okay. I'll take it from there. So,
but I really appreciate your steadfastness. I'm glad that the interview went the way it did.
It's all God. When we prep, you said we agree and we've done what we can. By the end of the day, we're going to agree in faith. And I said, God was going to go before you, and He's going to give you the words to speak. That's all we can do. At the end of the day, we can prep all we can, but the heart of the King is in His hands. So whichever way He decides to direct it. To be honest, I was expecting an RFE, because I know religious waiver, medical, especially since COVID, is a big deal. So for you to be able to get especially if you've had that, vaccine, this is the first time I've been doing it. I think I started doing waiver of that like 7 years ago, but this is the first time I actually had one without an RFE. I was like, what?
Yes. So, I'm really thankful that it went like that. And like I said, I promise I will recommend your firm to everybody that talks about immigration.
Thank you.
It's only your firm that I know.
We appreciate that.
And we're going to definitely push it forward from here. I have friends that wanted to see how mine would come out.
Oh, really? Okay.
So you'll be getting a few calls maybe before the year runs out.
Thank God.
Beginning of next year.
It's nothing. There's nothing special of anything that I think I know because of who I am. No, it's because of the God in me, and that's all it is.
That's one thing that makes you exceptional. Because it's immigration, so sometimes you come across other attorneys and how they talk. And I came across this attorney a week before the interview. I don't want to mention his name now. He was completely discouraging about waivers and said they're not going to approve your waiver, your case is in trouble, they're going to give your wife a lot of trouble. And then you had a live that day and you were saying there's nothing God cannot do. And I was like, I'm going to listen to my attorney. I'm not going to go online looking at all these other people.
The power of life and death is in the tongue. It doesn't mean that if it doesn't go your way, then that means the other person was right. No, it just means that God is not done with you yet. That's all it means. It means it's not the end yet. We're still going to keep fighting. And so because He spoke the world into existence. There's no one who's working USCIs that God did not create or speak into existence.
That's right.
So there's nothing that if He says it's going to be the way it's going to be for you. Like I said, this is the first time a waiver medical exemption that I'd never had an RFE. But because He decided He was going to go that route, this is the first time I had a USCIS officer come in like, I'm going to approve. They're like, what? And it was less than 5 minutes. You were not even out of the premises yet.
No,
there's nothing that to describe that besides the grace of God. That's what it is.
Yes. And to everybody here, thank you for congratulating me. If you're still waiting, you're gonna get it. Just stick with Lawyer. You'll get it.
See, he said.
I really appreciate the support of Eliana's Sanctuary, Abena, and Finest Shandy, and even your mom too.
Oh, my mother.
Let
Let me tell you something.
Really appreciate
my mother prays for my clients. My mother blesses my packages. Because there's nothing we can. I mean, I don't force my faith on anyone, but without my faith, I'm nothing. That's just who I am. It's just who I am. And thank God, because I had a mother who raised me that way. And I pray that I can do that for my kids. That's all. Thank you I know you're really shy.
I am, very.
I know your wife is not going to come on. She is a different story entirely.
I know. she's really shy.
She's a difference. I'm sure she was so happy she didn't have to answer any questions. Like
she did. Even though she was ready, but
I know she was, but she was like, okay, yeah. Like you have to understand, not a single good faith, not a single good faith bona fide marriage is nothing. And I mean, I was really worried about the waiver, but when he said, okay, I'm sending you a request, I'm like, oh, here we go again. But when he called me and goes, I'm just going to go ahead and approve, like, yeah.
Yes.
So congratulations. And I will be seeing you in 2 years, 90 days before 2 years.
Definitely.
You better come back. Oh,
I will. I promise you that. There are witnesses listening.
Exactly. It's going to be live, recorded, and evidence. All right, Mr. Magic. I don't know how you're going to sign up, but I think you're supposed to sign us up. I don't know. Text off. Yeah, you have to sign off on your end or something.
Okay, yes, I'll go ahead and sign off from here. Okay, thank you.
Thanks for joining. All right, so real quick, everyone, let's talk about. So that was Mr. Magic. I don't know how to say something is impossible. Even if it comes back and the case gets denied, that's okay. But I'm not going to speak it into existence. I'm always going to speak. I remember Miss Cynthia too. Everybody had told her, just go start all over again. She had a 9751, and she was like, someone even discouraged her from contacting our firm. Everyone she came, I told her, like, listen, this is a tough one, but if God started it, He's going to complete it. There's nothing He can do. And she has a 10-year green card, so it's not anything. I'd rather it goes through, and you've taken the chance than to let fear, win and not take the chance at all. But anyway, so real quick, thank you, Mr. Magic, for stopping by. Love you back. What we're going to talk about tonight, I just want to give you an update on the PIP, Keeping Families Together program. So what's the update? The update is USCI still cannot approve the parole in place for those who qualify. So parole in place, Keeping Families Together program was put in place by President Biden, which, if you ask me, should have been put in place like years before. But anyway, I digress. For you to qualify, you must have been in the United States, physically present in the United States for at least 10 years as of June 17, 2024. As of June 17, 2024, you're legally married to a U.S. citizen. As of June 17, 2024, you came in without papers, meaning you just crossed the border. You were on, however you came, you need to come with a valid visa, and you've got no criminal history. So that's that in a nutshell. People are able to, so the parole in place basically takes the place of, no pun intended, takes the place of what a 601A waiver does, unlawful presence waiver. If you qualify, if you meet all those requirements, then I think out of when the program started, if I'm not mistaken, only one case has been reported to have been approved. The state of Texas and 14 other Republican states came in and said, this is unconstitutional. Can you call all that, So because of that, the federal court has now put a stay on it. It's on hold. And yesterday, September 23rd, was the deadline for the injunction for us to know how we're moving forward. But as it stands right now, nothing is going to be done at the very earliest before October 10th. Even October 10th, what's going on October 10th is for the court to hear. There are parties who want to join in. We call them interveners. You want to intervene and be added as a party to the lawsuit. That's what the October 10th hearing is going to be about. It's not about whether they can continue, whether it's constitutional. No. It's for them to decide whether those parties can be added to the lawsuit. And so when would the court now decide if the injunction is going to go on, or is it going to be lifted? We do not know. We don't know. That's the basis. That's really the truth of the matter. That's the update right now. So until that happens, the parole in place program is still which helps a lot of immigrants. It's still in place. You can still apply, submit. It's online, an I-131F application. You have to submit it online. USCIS is still scheduling biometrics for those who have never been scheduled for biometrics. The only thing is they just cannot approve any of the parole in place application until this court situationship resolves itself. So that's that in a nutshell. That's where we stand with that. Just wanted to give you guys, because yesterday was one day that a lot of us, including myself, were looking for like, okay, what's going to happen? Because I've got 7 cases. I didn't even know I had people who actually watch us that came in without, inspection. So I was actually surprised to even get one, let alone 7. So we've got 7 cases that we filed. All we've been able to file. Everyone has got their biometrics notices. It's just that we can't do anything. So we just have to wait and see what happens. So and I can imagine a whole lot of more colleagues of mine would have more clients who are just waiting to see what happens. Now, if you ask me, nobody asked me, but I'm saying, I would not be surprised if this goes beyond the election period. We're less than 2 months from election day. I would not be surprised. And God forbid, God forbid, if the elections don't go the way we're hoping it goes, I'm just saying, God forbid. But the reality kicks in. If it doesn't go, because a 50-50 chance at the end of the day, right? If the Democrats don't stay in power, it's going to be hard to keep this program in place, truth be told. But let's just, fingers crossed, keep praying. Let's see what God decides to do. And yes, Mr. Like God really, really, this guy he has lost it. He just recently said he's going to try to start denaturalizing people who should not have become citizens. I'm mind blown. Some things you can't fathom, like what? But let's just keep praying. That's all we can do. So that's the latest on this PIP program, and that will keep you updated and see how things go. That's all she wrote. Thank you once again, Mr. Mayji. I will try to get to as many questions as possible. Let's see. Hawks fame, shout out from Houston. How are you? Okay. So, and thank you, Mr. Vanda. Thank you for kindly share. Okay. I didn't notice that. Is it fixed now? I guess. All right, let me go. Let's see how many questions we can get to answer. Let's see. Please do not repeat your questions. And answers provided to questions, general information, just so you know, and don't rely on that. That's not legal advice. It's legal information, but it's not legal advice for your own case, if that makes any sense. All right, let's see. Hakura, Victorious, good evening. How are you? Dr. Droid, Mary just waiting to apply for residency. Okay. Let's see. Thank you. Oh, I was going to say, come on, Miss Kamala Harris. Thank you. Please go vote in November. Y'all need to go vote, please. Yeah, I love vote too. Florid from Tampa, Florida. Thank you for joining. Jesus loves me. Yes, he does. Joyce from South Carolina. Thank you for joining. Can you file the green card application in one day? You can. I cannot. We don't do rush service, but you can if you want to. If you know you can. But yeah. Do you look into car tickets as well? Oh, well, you mean traffic violations. You're going to have to contact a lawyer in your state. Kojo Picasso, thank you. Let's see. Thank you, Miss Debbie. Mr. Match, everyone in TikTok is saying congratulations to you. Yeah, happy for him. This is so exciting. The one thing I didn't know, Mr. Maggie, even though I reviewed your file and all that, it just never, I just thought of it like, yeah, I think Attorney Goshen, I was like, he's 6'4". You really are tall. Like, I'm probably going to be maybe to your waist because I'm but 5'1". But the 5'1", yeah, 𝒊𝒎𝒏𝒕. Let's just say my driver's license has 5'1". Not really sure the one really is reality. Yeah. So probably going to be looking at you like this. But anyway. Let's see. I love the butterfly tattoo on you. Thank you. It actually has, so under here it has Psalm 23. So my tattoos actually have millions. And I have one, Jeremiah 29:11. Hey, Kitty. Everyone says hi, kiddo. You said hi. That's my baby.
Hello.
Hello. That's my baby. I had citizenship interview held, but they did not pass me and sent me to further review. So what's your question? Crazy Raj, I have one question. So put the question in the comment section. Can one change an attorney even if you have gone through an interview? Most attorneys probably would not take your case after that because you've already had the interview. So it's like you're just waiting for a decision to be made. Situationship. I mean, it is the situation. It is now. You know, I gave up when he said we eat cats. Yeah, fashion. I mean, sometimes you're like, some things are just not even. You can't even. How do you respond? Besides just praying for him. And just praying for all of us that we don't have to deal with him for 4 years. Yeah. What if someone comes in without inspection? Can you get your green card? It would depend on a whole lot of factors. And one of them would be consideration would be this PIP program if you've been here 10 years. If not, then sit down with a lawyer to evaluate your case. Okay. Can you apply for residency if you have been on asylum for 7 years? Shiku, what do you mean by you've been on asylum for 7 years? Do you mean you applied for asylum and you've been waiting 7 years for an interview, or you have been granted asylee status? They're two different things. Applying for asylum does not grant you asylee status. Applying for asylum makes you an asylum seeker, but in order for you to be an asylee, you must have had an interview or you're granted asylum in court. Which is it? I applied for a 601 waiver. So can I apply for a PIP program? It would depend on if you came in without inspection. So I'll give an example of those who would not benefit from a PIP program. If you came in on a K1 visa, for instance, right? And the marriage did not occur, and now you're married to somebody else, because you came in with a very restrictive visa, which is a K1 visa attached to that fiancé visa petitioner that did not marry you, and now you married somebody else. You cannot adjust status to someone who's married to another person, having come in through a K1 visa, because that visa belongs to that person who didn't marry you. In that case, in order for you to now get the immigrant visa or get a green card, you would literally have to leave the country. That means you would need a 601A waiver in that kind of situation. So even though you need a 601 waiver as a K1 visa holder that came in, you only need that because you cannot adjust status to someone else because you didn't marry the petitioner. So you still won't qualify for a PIP program because you came in legally. Albeit you can adjust status because of the kind of visa you came in with. I hope that makes sense. So some people came in with legal visas. It's just dependent on their situation would determine whether they can apply for a PIP program. Now, in your case, if you did not come in with any kind of visa, a crazy rag, then Have you been here 10 years as of June 17 and you're married to a U.S. citizen? You have to go through that list of the eligibility requirements for a parole in place. I'm out of status. Can I get married to someone with a green card? You can get married. The question is, can you get a green card through that marriage? Short answer is you cannot until the person becomes a citizen, unless you, or if it's an abusive marriage and you file based on abuse, then you're exempt from the lawful presence. Not granted asylum, you're still waiting for an interview. So there's no basis for you to apply for a green card if you're still waiting for an interview, unless you have an alternate route that you're going through rather than waiting on the asylum interview. Okay, got my prima facie. That reminds me, I have to email the ones. I'm sure those people are like, aunties, like literally, y'all, because this is how you know USCIS they know what they're doing. Like there's a client, the client's case, we filed her work permit since November of last year. November, I mean, it's fake with 1 year, and this lady has had to go back to rely on the abusive spouse and all that. When I'm thinking, it's it's out the number person time, and now I was really debating, like, should I email, should I not? Because they just told me recently, don't send us too many requests, like 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕 kind of thing. And I was like, but this woman needs her work permit. So what do I do? Sunday night, 11 something p.m. I was like, okay, why not? It doesn't hurt. Sent them an email, like, hey, this person's work permit has been pending. What's going on? When she would expect it? He's out in the person time. She's a vow petitioner. As you would know, I think sometimes I read my like, as you would know, like, yeah, Amo. As you would know, I'm telling you, even they're like, oh Lord. I'm sure whoever saw that, you're like, not this lady again. Less than 24 hours later, her work permit was approved. I was like, let me start going through all my cases and see maybe. But I'm sure they're like, not her again. It's not complicated. I mean, they make things just, if it's time to approve it, approve the darn thing. You can imagine calling her to and telling her that her workman was approved. This one was literally crying on because she's been having to rely on this abusive spouse for almost a year. Like, people's lives are on, but yeah. But anyway, actually, I was going to, but prima facie doesn't determine when you're going to get your work permit. It has nothing to do with one another. Let's see. Okay. What do I do if I get arrested after I file adjustment based on vow? Just hold on, because they probably will pull up your record, and hopefully it's not something that's going to affect your good moral character requirement. Please do not repeat questions. I really appreciate that. Captain Young, you're welcome. Let's see. I'm trying to make sure I don't miss anyone's question. Okay. Okay. I can't wait someone's passport in 2000. Should I do PIP or do a 601 being married to a citizen? If you've been married to a citizen, that's still a legal entry for adjustment of status purposes. That's a legal entry, but you're probably going to need a 601, like you said, when you file your 485. Not 601A now, 601 misrepresentation, fraudulent documents, but you had a legal entry. Can my husband adopt my son while waiting for VAWA? So what's going to be does your son need status, or what exactly? There's a whole lot of missing information there. How can you work with B1, B2 visa? How can you, it's not a working visa. How can you change to working? Now you have to qualify for something. Most of the time, those temporary visas are going to have to be sponsored by employers. Should abusive marriage only be physical, or emotional abuse can also be? Should abusive marriage only be physical, or emotional abuse can also be fact? Most of my cases are non-physical abuse, and so emotional, psychological, financial, sexual, mental, yeah, all of the stuff. Whatever rises to the level of extreme cruelty. Yes, thank you, Mr. Bennett. We serve clients in all 50 states. Distance isn't a barrier. I have a pending asylum case with a valid EAD. I'm presently married to a U.S. citizen. Do I still need to apply for another EAD in my marriage-based case application? I'm planning to put in for by next month. I would suggest that you do. Because it's some well, if you because now you've got to pay additional filing fees with marriage-based cases. So if you think you don't need it, especially now that you get a 5-year work permit with either marriage or asylum, and if you just recently renewed your asylum application, then your asylum work permit, you probably have a 5-year working permit. So in that case, if you still have that, then that's fine. You can do without that and just submit your I-130, I-485 application. And if you want to travel, advance parole. But, just something to consider. You may or may not, but one doesn't prevent you from getting the other because of different categories. Okay, let's see. Let's go on Instagram. Multiple homes. How are you? I'm doing well. I speak that into existence. I'm going to own multiple homes. We shall own multiple because that's where investment property is what a lot of people are doing now. I'm trying to get myself into that. Let's see. Splendid consultation I had. Thanks, Sissy Lawyer. I don't know who that is, but I'm glad you did. Good night, madam. How was your day? Oh, my day was fine, Alan. Someone told me today. He goes, you break things down so easy, but you're so direct and very, very matter of factly. Like, I'd rather than because he was like, I had a consult with someone. You just told me, hey, this is something, but you took your time to make me understand why this shouldn't be and why this is, so I can actually make an informed decision. That's the whole point. Yeah, and some of my colleagues tell me that I over explain. I'd rather and know what is going to be involved. Like, for instance, when I have a vow consultation, I always tell people, hey, listen, it's all well and good, but please understand, you're going to be waiting. Make sure you have enough patience for the next 3.5 years. Like, there's nothing you can do. You're going to be best friends with patients, just so you know. That's the very least how long it's going to take, at least, before we start. Come out, saw the green card part of it. So you've got to swallow a whole lot of patience pills, and so you prepare your mind for it. I don't like when someone says, well, but you didn't tell me this. And no, we did, and I put it in my email. I can forward that email to you. Yeah, that's me. I love you, sleep. You weren't playing with Mr. Magic tonight. Okay, let's see. Where my prayers are working. It's been testimony again. We thank God. Tap from your victory, inshallah. Yes, financially, soon, so shall it be. From your mouth to God's ears. Let's see. Mr. Matt, you have to go through all of this congratulatory messages. They are just very, very inspiring. I said it looks like me. He could pass for my younger brother, for real. Especially, with the chinko eyes kind of thing. Maybe he's my younger brother. Who knows? Listen. My dad was an irritable man. That's all I have to say. mom was probably like, my dad was an Yoruba man. You know, if you know Yoruba people, you know. Let's just say that, you know, when we buried the man, I was like, can you go back show up? Wait, I'm your and your half sibling. I would not be surprised because why shall we be surprised? I would not be so like because he's a full-blooded Yoruba man. So you just never know. Oh, family. Let's see. Favor. Yes, that's the Miss Abena, that's the one word. He stressed me. It's not, no, he stressed. I was like, what? But the thing is, whenever I checked him, he would behave himself too. But we thank God. Can't say. Price just went up. They should know. Miss Linda Sanctuary, I'm telling you, you have the best phrases. I wish I could. I'm probably going to start writing them down. You come up with the best lines. Like, what? I'm not that. I thought I was, very, very poetic and all that. You're it. Yes. It's you. But I was like, I have to start writing her lines. I'm telling you. What's unique about this matter of putting God first? I remember when we had a meeting, and before I joined, she said, "Let's pray," and I thought I was dreaming. It was new to me. I don't listen because I grew up with a mother that everything had, it was, we could solve everything with prayer. Not like, don't be realistic, but you got to put everything before the altar of grace, and that's what I knew. That's what I try to pass to my kids. Like I always remind my kids, before you sit for a test, before you started an exam, pray under your breath. Pray. You don't have to answer, but because you've studied, then leave the rest in God's hands. Let Him give you retentive memory, that you're able to remember, and knowledge and wisdom and understanding, so you can come out and be on top of excellence. That's it. I'm glad you remember that, Miss Abena. We'll call him if he doesn't come back. Thank you. I say it's nice, passionate, tested, trusted, and verified. That's another line that I've stolen from Finest Shandy. Mr. Magic says, "Thanks everyone. You're all my family. I was the most handful, and here I am." Yes, and you were the most handful. Yes, and you are the one who God has decided to use as a miracle. See how life works, right? See how life works. That's just God. That's just God. That's just God. This video saved on YouTube. He's coming back. We have evidence. We have evidence. Thank you, Miss Ola. We have evidence. I'm telling you, it's because we don't know. We'll get him out. Oh Lord Jesus. If I get married and my husband is not working, if I got a joint sponsor, if I got married and my husband is not working and I got a joint sponsor, I'm rephrasing your question. Does my husband need to send in any tax documents since he's not working? If he did not file taxes, there is a part he's got to do the I-864. But if he didn't file taxes, then he's got to write. We have a letter where we write on behalf of clients explaining why the person did not file taxes. They didn't make as much money that required them to file taxes. They're a student, whatever the case may be. And then in addition to the joint sponsor as documents. I went for my biometrics with my daughter last month, but they only took pictures and signature without fingerprint. Is that normal? They may have your fingerprints already, or you probably you've done it before, or they maybe send you another biometrics for fingerprinting under another application that you have pending. 5-1 no, but hey, the fire shandy come by, but I get 5.5 nearly. But hey, yeah, I didn't know you're very tall, 6'4". I don't probably, but it doesn't mean I wouldn't still. You probably still be afraid of me though, even as short as I am, because people tell me that. Whatever. Yummy face, thank you. Okay, let's see. That's pretty. Don't ban me from USCS. I'm telling you. Sometimes, like, even my mom says, "𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒂𝒏𝒕." Hey, it's strong force, and she's got back to that. I love that. Do I need to remove my name from the mortgage documents I had with my ex-spouse now that I'm living on a new address with my new spouse? That's not an immigration question. That's something you have to discuss with your domestic relations attorney. How many years green card does USCIS issue for asylees that are just status 10? Okay, that's the same question I just answered. If USCIS approves parents' family-based petition, how long does it take NVC to anything about scheduling and all that? That's not a question I can answer. And for especially with the NVC, that's country specific backlogs. It's a whole lot that goes into that. So those are anything present time. NVC doesn't even have that, but USCIS present time. Please go on USCIS.gov present time website. Same thing with your question. My world with AIDS or things, I don't know. Can someone that enters through border and parole in be considered as legal or illegal entry? It would depend on what you were given. If you had a parole document, if you were paroled as an arriving alien, that's something you want to sit down with a lawyer to discuss. Hello, Miss Akisoya. How are you? Thank you. Okay. My brother moved with B1 and changed to studies. If I applied for B1, should his change affect mine? I don't understand your question. Your brother moved with B1 and changed to studies. Maybe you can only rephrase your question. What options does someone with H-1B whose job has been terminated has? You got to sit down with a lawyer to figure out what your options are for your own specific case. Can you apply for EB2 while on pending asylum, waiting for interview? You can apply for EB2. I guess what you really want to ask is, would you be able to get a green card if that EB2 petition is approved? And it really depends. Because a pending asylum is not a legal, lawful status. But there have been case laws where they've argued that the delay that now caused the asylum seeker to be out of lawful status was a technical violation on the part of USCIS. That's a long shot argument to make. Some applicants were able to make that, and they ended up in district court. It's a long fiasco, and depends on the word circuit. I think it was I don't want to be wrong. It was the 9th or 5th circuit that had that decision that favored those applicants. But it used to be a straight up no, but people are fighting that now. So you just never know. But just be prepared that you may end up having to, if you haven't accrued unlawful presence, if you did not get unlawful presence before you filed for your asylum case, or you still have the protection of 245K an employment exemption. So there's a whole lot that goes into that. How you make your hair like that is pretty. Thank you. It's just it's just right at the end of it. As back of it is yeah. Okay. All right, people. I'm an American. I got married in Nigeria. Oh, welcome to the family. Can my husband visit me on tourist visa? It's not like he can visit. The question is, will he get the tourist visa? It's because he has to apply for the visa, and so they're going to ask him if he's married. Obviously, he's going to say he's married. It's just, if your spouse is a citizen, all those questions. So it's discretionary. So he can apply, and if he gets approved, then that's great. If he doesn't get approved, then you're going to have to start the spousal visa petition for him. Yeah, you make me want to grow my gray hair out. Hey, listen, I didn't start out by wanting to do it. I just got tired of paying for hair dye because my mom is 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕, so I'm half 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒂𝒏𝒕. So I was like, hey, Moshimo, I'm not spending my money here because it was growing out. Like, what was the point? So I just left it. And here we are. I ain't wasting my money. He got visitor visa changed to your brother changed from B1 to F1. If I applied for a visitor visa, well, so you are looking to apply for a visitor visa and your brother came in on a B1 and now he's not on F1. If you apply, he's not going to, well, I mean, they can factor that in as a sibling, but it doesn't automatically mean you can't get it. So you just have to apply to see. Greetings from Gibraltar. Oh, Canada. Thank you. Welcome. I got married to a U.S. citizen. What is the procedure to file? I came with a visa. The procedure to file is to start by sitting with a lawyer to discuss how they can help you file your case properly. Okay. All right, people. Oh, you're welcome. What should I look forward to if I marry someone going through the asylum process? I'm not sure I understand what you're asking. I'm trying to understand what you're asking. Okay, let's see. Can I get work permit based on pending while I'm ordered removed by immigration judge due to asylum denied? I'm sorry, because I know who you are. Okay, can I get work permits based on pending while I'm ordered removed due to asylum? If your VAW case is pending, there is no work permit you can get unless you file. We talked about this. Unless you file the I-485, and if you file the I-485, USCIS is going to still accept it, and even with a removal order, but and process that. It's just that they will not adjudicate that if the removal order is still in place. If that makes any sense, we already talked about that. You're welcome, Legency. What time do you start your live show? 8:30 p.m. So we come every Tuesdays, Thursdays, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, in Alabama Standard Time, and then 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you live in New York, Maryland, Massachusetts, where else do y'all live in? I don't know. Yeah, those places that is Eastern time zone. Those are states that I know. Yeah. Georgia, yes. That will be 1 hour ahead of us. If you live in California, you're 2 hours behind. So, yeah. How do I track my case with USCIS that has been transferred to another jurisdiction? You just have to wait to get updates on your case. My case was approved as you told me to relax, as it is a settled. My case was approved as you told me to relax. It is a settled one. Can you give me your first name? Because obviously I can tell who you are from your username. Can you give me a clue when we talked? Well, congratulations on the approval of your case. what, when God settles it, it's just some, when a matter has been settled in heaven already, it's just a matter of being patient for us to have that now manifested here on this side of heaven. That's what it is. So, okay. All right, people. All right, everybody. My VA case is 2 years and 6 months. My case is yet to be approved, and I'm waiting on my work permit and parole renewal. Why is my case taking too long? Because that's just how long it is taking. VA cases, if I'm not mistaken, I checked it yesterday. I think it was 40 and a half months. Is, hopefully things get better, but that's what we're seeing right now. So if you're going to file a VA case, you have to be extremely patient. Like, Mr. T, we mailed out his green card from his VA case to him today. We started his case in March of 2021. Yeah. So and in his case, we did not have an RFE. The only RFE we got was we did not have an RFE for the VA case. The only RFE we got was for his birth certificate on the I-45. So you can imagine. So, but anyway, once again, Mr. Magic, we rejoice with you. We celebrate with you. And we pray that just as God stepped in on your behalf, and he that's what we call the God of the suddenly. When you, it's amazing because the day before we prepped, and that's the thing, you prep and you prep, right? But when God decides to just do things just like that, the prepping is not, it hasn't been a waste of time, but it just means that God decided to step in and show and turn that ordinary situation to a miracle, so that his name alone shall be glorified, and he can testify to the goodness and glory of God. And so even as we rejoice with Mr. Magic, I know and believe that we will rejoice with those who are waiting patiently on God to do that which he alone knows how to do. He is the only, when you serve the creator who created himself, what other power or powerful being do you want beyond that? God is faithful. He never fails. God is faithful. And so for all those of us who are waiting on him to come through for us, he's not going to fail. If you still have breath, you got up today, you're able to take in, you're able to get up and go. That means he's not done with you yet. So just keep believing and keep praying and keep hoping that one day we're going to come together, and we're going to celebrate with you as well, just like we celebrate with everyone.